Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. If there's one place I can't be stranded, it's in the bottom of the ocean. You could put me in the middle of the desert. You can put me on top of the Empire State Building. You seen that one video where the girls was like the top of the telephone pole? I'd rather be there than under the ocean, okay? But we're about to figure out how a man survived at the bottom of the ocean for 3 days. Wouldn't have been me. I would have been hyperventilating hour 2, bro. Let's see.
A man on board a boat woke up at the crack of dawn to go to the restroom, sleepily walking around in his boxers.
On a boat?
Once in the small room, his world literally flipped upside down as extreme turbulence rocked the boat, turning everything pitch black as it capsized. The man could feel water gushing into the ship. Scared for his life, he stumbled to find any escape or safety, but only found locked doors. As the boat sank and settled at the bottom of the ocean, he miraculously managed to find the single tiny pocket of safety in the entire vessel.
That's crazy.
His life was saved by a couple of mattresses, a bathroom, and a bottle of Coke. But how much longer could he survive down there?
Okay. Bubble trouble.
One spring day, the Jascon 4, a tugboat, set sail up the coast of Nigeria. The boat's mission was to secure a large Chevron oil tanker full of gasoline, which was in the Atlantic Ocean. The 12 crew members aboard had several years of experience at sea, and this was a routine task. But nothing could prepare the men of the Jascon 4 for what they were going to meet. The crew of 11 Nigerian men and their Ukrainian captain locked their cabin doors and turned in for the night. As they slept, heavy rain, dangerous waves, and turbulent black waters surrounded them. Around 4:30 a.m., Harrison Okene, the cook on board, woke up before everyone else to prepare breakfast. Harrison was an experienced seaman who loved getting a head start on his day. First things first, he made his way to the restroom.
Okay.
At that moment, a huge wave slammed into the ship and turned it over, capsizing it. The force threw Harrison out of the washroom and tumbled him around the ship as water poured into its hulls and cabins. The vessel began sinking faster and faster down into the sea. Terrified and in the pitch dark, Harrison groped around trying to find safety, but all the doors around him were locked from the inside.
Bruh, look, forget the boat sinking. I was in the middle of taking a pee-pee, and now it's all over me. That's why I would have lost it there. I would have, hey, look, spam after pay respect in the chat. I'm done here.
This was a practice to protect the ship's passengers and content, since pirates were known to raid the boats in the region. As they sank down, 30 miles away from the Nigerian coast, the cook managed to find his way to the ship officer's cabins, which was unlocked but flooded with water, forcing him into a small attached room inside the cabin that must have been the officer's attached washroom. There, a miracle happened. As the boat settled at the bottom of the sea, 30 meters below the surface, an air bubble formed in that tiny washroom with Harrison in it. The pocket of precious air was only about 1 meter wide, but it was enough to keep someone alive. For now, as he sat stuck in the dark, Harrison had nothing to do but think about this dire situation. The fate of his crewmates was unknown, but Harrison assumed they had managed to evacuate to safety, and perhaps thought that he had perished in the disaster.
Hold on. First. Maybe space. Getting caught in space. Wasn't there like 2 astronauts that like floated out into space, and we still ain't never heard from them? That's got to be the worst, because there is no coming back from now, unless there's really aliens and they done scoop them up. Who knows? I don't know.
He was alone and not sure if anyone was coming, or if they would come too late. The water level was also slowly rising, but he was determined to survive as long as he could.
That's crazy.
He left his air pocket to search for supplies, wandering and feeling around the ship, and managed to find some tools and 2 mattresses. He stacked them on top of each other, rigging a simple platform that kept his body partially out of the water and to delay the possibility of hypothermia. Still, it was almost unbearably cold, and Harrison was wearing nothing but underwear. It was pure black and noisy all around him. He was hungry and thirsty, with only a bottle of Coke he had found to survive on. He knew he had to get out as soon as possible. The longer he waited, the more his air pocket was becoming concentrated with carbon dioxide from his breathing, and eventually he would not be able to survive. He tried to find a way out of the chamber, using a rope he found to find his way back to the air pocket during his attempts, but was unsuccessful. With no other options, he stayed there, shivering, and prayed and prayed. He was only days away from his 5-year wedding anniversary. He reflected on his life and thought about his wife, his family, his friends, and what would happen to them. 2 days passed without any progress, and Harrison wasn't sure that help was even coming. At one point, he heard what he believed were the sounds of biting, a creature eating something in the boat. He was running out of time. Every breath he breathed out was filling his space with more and more CO2, which would eventually take his life. Was anyone going to look for him? Meanwhile, above the surface, a team of South African divers from a nearby oil rig were sent to inspect the scene of the shipwreck. But this operation was not a rescue mission. They were from DCN, a global diving company, and had been sent to recover the bodies from the wreck. Since all the doors to the rooms were locked as a safety precaution against pirates, they had been told that all the boat crew members had lost their lives as they were locked in their rooms. 4 bodies had already been retrieved from the water, and Harrison's family were notified of his passing. Nobody had any idea that someone was praying for them to hurry and find him before it was too late. If Harrison was still alive, he would have heard the sounds of the crew reaching the shipwreck 60 hours after the sinking. The humming of a boat's engine, an anchor dropping, and the paddling of divers would have alerted him that divers were on the way. But the Jascon 4 was a large ship, and since the divers weren't looking for someone trapped on board, it could take them a long time to reach the small chamber. Harrison was still alive. He had heard the sounds of potential rescue and was trying to get their attention. He used a hammer to hit the steel of the boat, trying to make enough noise to alert someone to the fact that he was alive in there. The divers were far from him, though, and he heard their sounds fade away. As the divers explored the vessel,
I would have started tweaking, bro. My savior this far away, and it's drifting. Oh, man, boy. And it's pitch dark. If y'all ain't never been in a pitch dark before, that's one of the craziest things ever. I went to this place called Wonderworks, okay? It's like a museum, an interactive museum, and they got this one exhibit. They lock you in like a pitch dark room, no light, and they start playing sound. Listen, you don't want no parts of that, bro. None.
Hoping to find the remaining bodies, one man, Nico van Heerden, made his way into the officer's cabin. He moved around the space and found the washroom, his light piercing through the black water to where, little did he know, Harrison was waiting. His time had been running out for over the last 2 days, so Harrison took no chances and jumped into the water towards his potential rescuer. He reached out to touch the diver's head, careful to withdraw quickly and not scare him too much.
Okay.
Nico was shocked. He stretched out towards the hand he had felt and Harrison grabbed it. Nico cried out to his team that a person was alive, and he held onto Harrison's hand to let him know help was here. When he rose up to see his savior face to face, Harrison started crying with joy, disbelief, and gratitude, overwhelmed that someone had finally come. Rescue had arrived at a critical moment because Harrison's air pocket was becoming concentrated with carbon dioxide from his breathing, and he would not have been able to survive much longer, and was in the first stages of hypercapnia, a buildup of carbon dioxide in the bloodstream. The air bubble had kept Harrison alive, but being trapped in there for so long also put his life at risk. He had breathed in a dangerous amount of nitrogen, and the effects on his body from being underwater for so long were severe. When we breathe air, the body takes in oxygen, replaces some of it with carbon dioxide, and does nothing with the nitrogen. At regular surface pressure, some nitrogen and oxygen is dissolved in the fluid in our blood and tissues. But when a scuba diver goes deep underwater, the pressure on the body increases, so more nitrogen and oxygen dissolve in the bloodstream. The oxygen is used by our tissues, but the nitrogen forms nitrogen bubbles in their bloodstream. If a diver were to go straight up to the surface, that gas would be released, just like when you open a bottle of soda. This can be extremely painful and fatal. To prevent this, divers have to rise from the water slowly and make any decompression stops along the way, which allows the gas to come out bit by bit. If the diver goes up too fast, the only cure is to go into a pressurized chamber where the air pressure matches the pressure underwater, then is released slowly while the diver adapts. Though Harrison had been found, the danger was far from over for him, as he had to be returned to the surface.
Bro, your head will feel like it's about to bust, all right? Even if you go down too quick. Like if you go from like surface level to like 30 meters, quick, your head is going to explode. Okay? I've been scuba diving before. I know these things.
Very carefully. Simply bringing him straight to land would have killed him, as Harrison would experience this severe decompression sickness known as the bends. How did Harrison stay alive for so long within such a limited space? People are still not sure how the pocket of air had formed or how it sustained him for so long. It's believed that the trapped air pocket had miraculously worked as a sort of diving bell, which is a chamber with an open bottom used to transport divers to and from the surface. The pressure of the water around keeps the air trapped inside the bell. If you've ever placed a cup or something similar upside down in a pool or bath, you've seen this phenomenon at work. Still, wouldn't Harrison have run out of air quicker? One theory as to how he survived concerns Fick's law of diffusion. This is a scientific rule that says that the movement of a substance from one area to another is affected by the difference in concentration of that substance and the space through which it's moving. It's a complex scientific concept, but in simple terms, it's a rule that explains how things move from one place to another based on the concentration and space available. In this case, the air pocket Harrison found in the submerged boat may have been created by the air diffusing from the upper parts of the boat to the lower parts where he was trapped. The high concentration of air in the upper parts of the boat created a flow that allowed the air to reach the washroom. It's possible that this flow of air helped him survive while trapped underwater. It's a theory, but the law of diffusion can explain how the oxygen reached Harrison. Alex Gibbs, a life support technician on duty at the surface, was alerted to the fact that someone was miraculously alive. He and his team put down an air hose into the room and gave Harrison fresh air, but there was another problem. Harrison had been so saturated by carbon dioxide air that the divers had to switch to a mix of oxygen and helium, which is not standard practice. Harrison was fitted into a special diving suit and helmet, which would maintain his internal pressure to prevent the bends. But he had spent so long underwater that he still had to make several long decompression stops. Nico was amazed at how calm the survivor was the entire time. As they brought him up little by little, Harrison...
Bro, on God, I would never touch the water again, okay? The closest I'm getting is a puddle after it rain and maybe, just maybe, a bath, okay? Showers only from here on out.
Passed out, but survived. At the surface, he was transferred to a diving bell under pressure, then a decompression chamber. He spent the next 2 days there, which was also an ordeal to live through. Harrison had recurring nightmares of his experience, suffered from his skin peeling, and a hunger that wouldn't go away even after being fed. He also learned that none of his crew members had survived. 10 bodies had been recovered, but one was never...
This looked like a crazy... This looks like a insane thumbnail. We'll just stop right there, though.
Found. Alex cared for Harrison throughout his recovery, delivering food, changing his sheets, administering medicine, and communicating between Harrison and the doctors, officers, and managers outside. It took 3 days before he was decompressed and well enough to leave the chamber. Harrison was very grateful to be alive, but was prone to nightmares and would wake up in the night feeling his bed sinking. He swore to never go near the ocean again. 9 years after this incredible event, Alex was on a diving job when he met...
Let's try this one more time, buddy. Just one more time.
Night, feeling his bed sinking. He swore to never go near the ocean again. 9 years after this incredible event, Alex was on a diving job when he met one of the divers and got an unexpected surprise. It was Harrison, who was now working as a commercial diver. Though he had initially been...
He said he was never going near water again, and my man is on diving missions. That brother's cooked, bro. Could never be me.
Terrified of going into the water, traumatized by his near-death experience in the ocean, Harrison had bravely conquered his fear and decided to become a certified commercial diver. When Harrison completed his training, it was Nico who had presented him with his diploma. Harrison said that he is happy as a clam while diving and enjoys the environment. It's now fun for him. He feels like the ocean is his world, and he is comfortable and relaxed while in the sea. He can dive up to 50 meters underwater. He is forever grateful to the team that saved him and will never forget the 2 days he spent trapped in the dark, cold depths of the ocean. Harrison has some advice for people who find themselves in a terrifying situation like he did. The fear alone can kill
that's
you,
a fact.
but he believed in himself and kept his faith and his mind strong. This unbelievable accident-turned-miracle serves as a reminder of the dangers of working at sea and the importance of safety measures to address a variety of situations. Harrison's story of survival is a testament to his will to live and the power of hope to face seemingly impossible odds. It's also amazing that he managed to overcome his fear and pass all of his diving courses.
That's a real one, though.
Considering that his grades were probably below sea level.
That's crazy. That is insane. But anyway, one thing I can say is he faced his fears head on. I've been one of them people. No, listen, I almost drowned once. I ain't gonna lie. I almost drowned in Mexico. And it was almost GG's in the chat for the boy. But after that, I ain't touch a pool for like 2 years, bro. I did not want to see no water. But you got to get back in the water eventually. I think my first time scuba diving came after that. So, I made it. But when I did go scuba diving, I remember we were swimming through this cave and I hit my knee in the cave. And all I could think about is, bro, what if I'm bleeding? What if a shark smells the blood? I'm about to die. It's over with. That's what I was thinking. I ain't gonna lie. Because the first horror movie that scared me was Deep Blue Sea. Okay, I've seen enough. I don't want no problems with the water. Send me all the grizzly bears, all the lions, all the polar bear. Look, I will 1v1 a polar bear before I try to take on a shark. Okay. But yeah, sometimes you just gotta face your fear. I was scared of the dark. Used to sit in the dark till I got unscared, But yo, shout out to this man, survived alone in the bottom with a bottle of Coke. Okay. Man, listen, y'all like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Until next time, I see y'all. Peace.
So when the metal hit his mug, he just sunk in place. 100K Holla, chillin' Bahamas. Come home to your crib and throw in your mama.